Hello, I'm Joni Rotten. I'm going to read another Rotten paper. This is from Open Access Text or OAT. Don't forget to eat your oats. The expanding cocktail of harmful ingredients and HPV vaccinations. Vaccination-induced disorders are a genuine reality that continue to generate intense controversy, as I usually get taken down and lose my channels for sharing such things, so we shall see. Although the majority of immunization recipients have little or no safety issues, that does not detract from the occurrence of multiple systematic diseases initiated by a wide variety of perinatal vaccines. Is that parenteral exposures? The past 4 decades, so 40 years, case reports of chronic vaccine-induced disorders have generally segregated into 2 main categories, the first being an autoimmune and autoinflammatory diseases, and the second being neuropsychiatric diseases characterized by overlapping clinical features of the various neurologic fatiguing syndromes. Afflicted individuals in category B are typically Gardasil vaccine recipients. That's the HPV. They manifest widespread generalized pain, fatigue, muscle weakness, and small fiber neuropathy, along with mood and sleep disturbances, lethargy, headaches, dizziness, vertigo, reduced alertness, tinnitus, hearing loss, motor neuron dysfunction, abnormal gait, adverse cardiovascular events, such as orthostatic fainting, postural tachycardia, other arrhythmias, heart block. Gastrointestinal complaints such as cramps, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, cognitive dysfunction, for example, memory lapses and learning impairment, tremors, seizures, metabolic disturbances such as menstrual irregularities, and even sudden death. The published reports of Category B phenomenon began after either Gardasil 4 and or Gardasil 9 immunizations, regardless of whether any single individual had received 1, 2, or 3 separate doses designed to protect against the HPV-inducing cancers. Within Category B, they also exist considerable diversity regarding the types of clinical features manifested by any single patient, as well as considerable heterogeneity in their time to onset, severity, and the persistence. Complicating all of this is the lack of specific non-enclosure for Category B events, nomenclature, in part because multiple investigators have identified a variety of autoantibodies and cytokines in ailing Gardasil recipients, and others have grossly oversimplified disease features to resemble patterns seen in fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, neuroinflammation, dysautonomia, POTS, Gulf War illness, macrophage fasciitis, small fiber neuropathy, and complex regional pain syndrome. In essence, mechanisms of disease causation put forth by the researchers for account of Category B events are superficial, oversimplistic, disjointed, and at times inherently contradictory. All of these co-founding factors have added considerable fuel to the Gardasil controversy, and questions continue to persist regarding definitive identification of those at risk for the bizarre syndrome. How then can one implicate Gardasil 4 and 9 vaccines as cause of such a profound multi-system illness? First and foremost, it's becoming increasingly apparent that Gardasil vaccines contain a cocktail of harmful chemicals capable of producing dozens of biochemical disruptions in the body. Several of these chemicals are organs known as silicones, silicone dioxide known as silica, and sorbitol. All 3 have recently been implicated as participants causing systematic toxicity in the recipients. Any autoimmune features in these scenarios have been relegated to secondary amplification loops that enhance the disorder once it is already underway. So it's going on, and now this just gives it a booster, if you will, pun intended. As the list of known harmful substances present in Gardasil expands, multiple overlapping pathophysiologic disruptions of the body's biochemistry become more and more plausible. Perhaps the most glaring new revelation is the identification of vital organic compounds in the toluene and benzene families that persist. I'm probably saying these wrong, so if you're listening and you should probably look at the screen or go read yourself, because I'm probably pronouncing some of these words wrong. And I wouldn't want you to walk around saying, I heard that Truline. I don't know if there's no R there. Totally. I don't know how to say that, right? In the finished Gardasil products, official chemical destinations are PMSF, or some word I can't say, and another fluoride, respectively, both of those having fluoride in them. A synonym for that is, of course, another word I can't say. And these two chemicals are used in the extraction process of the protein peptides that serve as an antigenic stimuli in Gardasil 4 and 9 vaccines. However, volatile organic compounds like toluene and benzene, toluene, and benzene readily diffuse into these polymers, and silicones are hidden toxic ingredients in the Gardasil vaccine. This in turn implies that purification of the protein peptides via an inactivation of PMSF and AEBSF is incomplete, because these two compounds can be shielded by their absorption into the silicones, as if that's its purpose. Indeed, a recent independent chemical analysis of 2 Gardasil 9 vaccine vials confirms the presence of these two compounds. The side effects are numerous and include virtually all the adverse phenomena noted in Category B, as well as acidosis, chest tightness, and shortness of breath. The reasons for this phenomenon are multifactorial. Firstly, the toluene compounds have been shown to cause dysfunction of cardiac voltage-gated sodium and calcium channels that are responsible for membrane depolarization and action potential conduction. Since voltage-gated sodium channels are also abundant throughout the nervous system, they provide a nasty adverse synergetic amplification loop. A nasty one, even. 1 minute. No. Okay. Basically, I think this paper, I think I'm only going to be repeating things. So you're going to get a repetion of things. Why doesn't everyone vaccinated become ill? Part of the answer appears to be rooted in one's liver, which is the primary site of biotransformation of endogenous substrates, drugs, and chemicals via the cytochrome P450 superfamily system of enzymes. The genes that code for these enzymes exhibit a high number of polymorphism. As an example, this particular gene is responsible for the metabolism of many drugs and xenobiotics, chemical substance foreign to animal life. There are more than 130 inherited single nucleotide polymorphisms identified in one or both allies of the CYP2D6 gene, some of which can even create missense mutations in either ally. I can't remember how to say that. I've heard it such a long time ago. I haven't read that word in a moment. Thus, different versions of the same gene can confer various levels of functional enzyme status in different patients, ranging from ultra rapid to poor to absent. Benzene is primarily metabolized by these two genes. As for the toluene, the initial primary route of metabolism by the hydrolyzed hydrolation of the benzyl alcohol is 5 members of the family. So they got 5 of them that do. In conclusion, HPV vaccine-induced systematic illness is a genuinely novel disorder that likely encompasses dozens of biochemical and physiological disruptions orchestrated by the presence of multiple hidden toxic ingredients. The population is at risk for Gardasil-induced adverse events, are not likely to exhibit autoimmune idiopathitis, but they probably exhibit overlapping indigenous risk factors that are markedly facilitate acute chemical poisoning. These risk factors, in conjunction with all the hidden toxic vaccine ingredients in Gardasil, also elicit delayed secondary autoreactive amplification loops, which in return become capable of augmenting and sustaining the initial biochemical and physiological disruptions once they are already underway. So it's like a snowstorm. And we've got some references here. 2017, looking at dates, 19, 20, 17, 19, 20, 18. 2016, 18. So, they're definitely going to be looking at everyone's DNA, and they're going to find out. So if you have any of these disorders, please go visit your doctor so that you can be part of the study in order to prevent this in the future and make this HPV vaccine all the more helpful and healthy for you to take in the future, maybe, whatever that means. Comment below what you think this article means to you, if you can understand it better than I can, and we'll, keep the conversation going. Do you know anyone who's had an HPV vaccine? Are they possibly experiencing some of these disorders, such as fainting, dizziness, neuropathy, fatigue? If so, visit your doctor. They need you because they need to come up with a medicine to help you. They want you to be a guinea pig for them. So please go do that.